Let me start with a confession. If you ever got stuck in traffic in Cairo, Nairobi, Bangkok, Manila, and Ho Chi Minh City, anywhere in the global south, chances are that 90% of the vehicles around you weren't really official. Cars, few. Buses, maybe. Paratransit, everywhere. Tuk-tuks buzzing like caffeinated bees. Matatus blasting music loud enough to reboot your soul. Shared minibuses overtaking each other like they are doing a Fast and Furious audition. These aren't side characters in the mobility story. They are the story. Today I'm diving into the real engines of mobility in much of Africa and Asia, the informal transport systems that move tens of millions every day, connecting where formal buses and metros don't reach. Let's hit the road, preferably on a vehicle with functioning brakes. I'm it's Urban History. Before we compare tuk-tuks, matatus, and minibuses, we need to understand why informal transport dominates in so many developing countries. The reasons are simple. Formal transit systems grow too slowly. Road networks expand faster than rail networks. Urban sprawl makes fixed routes expensive. Governments often can't subsidize large bus fleets. Demand is unpredictable, surging and shifting hour by hour, and informal operators respond instantly. These modes thrive because they are cheap, flexible, and everywhere. As one Kenyan transport scholar said, when formal transit pauses, informal transit accelerates. And in some cities, formal transit didn't just pause, it never even showed up. If Picasso designed buses while listening to hip-hop, he'd invent the matatu. Nairobi's matatus are privately owned minibuses or vans, usually Toyota Hiace, or larger minibuses decorated with LED lights, airbrushed murals, cartoon characters, politicians, Bible verses, rappers, Marvel superheroes, and occasionally all of the above simultaneously. It's public transport meets art gallery meets nightclub. Step inside and you'll get music at 200% volume, bright lights, a conductor shouting "Tao Tao," riders boarding and leaving while the bus is still moving. A matatu doesn't stop. It briefly reduces speed to consider stopping. Matatus carry over 60% of all daily trips in Nairobi. Around 20,000 matatus operate in the metro area. They generate hundreds of thousands of jobs, and they move more passengers daily than the entirety of the formal bus system. Matatu fills the mobility gap between sprawling suburbs, unpaved areas, and the CBD. Routes are semi-structured. Prices fluctuate depending on weather, time, and mood. Operators compete aggressively for passengers, and drivers earn per passenger, not per hour. This creates energy, but also chaos. One Nairobi joke goes, if you want to understand the matatu system, you don't observe it, you survive it. Now let's fly north to Cairo, a megacity of almost 22 million people. Shared microbuses, known abstractly as service or micro or white minibuses, are extremely common throughout Egypt. Most are 14-seat white minibuses, often Hyundai, Ford Transit or Chinese models, and with sliding doors that sometimes work. Cairo's microbuses operate on thousands of unofficial routes across Greater Cairo. Cairo's metro is efficient, but it covers only a limited part of the city. The microbus picks up the rest. They cover 40% of the daily commuter trips in Cairo. Estimated 80,000 to 100,000 microbuses operate in Greater Cairo, and they serve over 8 million passenger trips per day. No fixed schedules, no digital tracking, no fleet management systems, but unmatched flexibility. Drivers stop anywhere, middle of road, shoulders, conjunctions, roundabouts, and traffic lights. A Cairo microbus stop is defined as wherever the passenger shouts, "Here." They are vital because Cairo's vast desert sprawl makes formal bus coverage impractical. Asia is the spiritual homeland of the tuk-tuk, but it's far more diverse than that. Let's break down 4 major examples. First, the tuk-tuks in Thailand. The three-wheeled open-air taxi known as tuk-tuk is iconic in Bangkok, Chiang Mai, and tourist towns. Tuk-tuks are loud, fast, agile, and somehow powered by equal parts gasoline and hope. Riding a tuk-tuk feels like being inside a hairdryer. Though highly visible, they handle only a small share of total Bangkok trips, far more important for tourists than commuters. 2. Songtaos. These pickup trucks with benches in the back, the real mass mobility tool in many Thai towns. They operate on semi-fixed routes, with flexible stops carrying 8 to 20 passengers at extremely low cost. Songtaos are the backbone of mobility in cities like Chiang Mai, Phuket, and many rural zones. Vietnam is the world capital of two-wheeled mobility. Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi have millions of motorbikes, dozens of informal motorbike taxi hubs, and gigantic swarms of scooters that move like a liquid. Crossing the street in Ho Chi Minh City is basically a trust fall with 200 motorcycles. Apps like Grab Bike and Gojek turned informal motorcycle taxis into semi-formal app-based services, real-time pricing, GPS, safety ratings, and digital payments. Vietnam shows how Paratransit absorbs new technology quickly. And two types of paratransit in Indonesia, the first of which is Angkot. In Bandung, Bogor, and many cities, the Angkot minibus system is essential. The characteristics are 10 to 15 seats, fixed but numerous routes, loud music, hyper-competitive drivers, and cheap fares. The second type is Ojek. The motorcycle taxi Ojek is legendary. Today, Gojek, based on Ojek culture, is Southeast Asia's biggest mobility and delivery platform, handling rides, deliveries, payments, and logistics. Indonesia is a perfect example of informal transport evolving into a tech giant. Let's compare key characteristics across regions. I have provided you with a table summarizing the vehicle types in East Africa, North Africa, and Southeast Asia. African systems lean more towards vans and minibuses, while Asian systems use lighter, smaller vehicles due to higher densities and narrower streets. In Africa, higher entrepreneurial cooperatives control routes, competitions is intense. In Asia, more mixed, some regulated, some chaotic, some platform-based. In Africa, they are slowly adopting digital fare systems, GPS, and mapping apps. In Asia, much more advanced apps dominated motorcycle taxi operations. In Nairobi, music, art, and expressiveness, matatus as cultural icons. In Egypt, microbuses are neutral and functional, pure utility. In Thailand, tuk-tuks are symbols of tourism and speed. In Vietnam, scooters are social equalizers, everyone uses them. In Indonesia, informality is entrepreneurial, feeding digital giants like Gojek. Despite chaos, these systems are brilliant in many ways. They scale instantly, population increases, routes appear overnight. They reach everywhere, unaffordable for governments to subsidize. They are affordable, fares priced for low-income commuters. They create jobs, millions of drivers, conductors, mechanics, and dispatchers. They adapt to traffic. They can weave, reroute, avoid congestion creatively, and sometimes too creatively. There are some key challenges. The first is safety. Vehicle conditions vary wildly. Brakes, optional. Seat belts, theoretical. The second one is over-competition. Drivers race for passengers, leading to accidents, stress, and dangerous maneuvers. The third, emissions. Old engines, poor maintenance, major air pollution contributors. Number 4 is unpredictability. No schedule, so unreliable for long-distance commuting. And finally, number 5, governance conflicts. Government modernization attempts can lead to driver protests. Cities across Africa and Asia are trying to modernize paratransit, not eliminate it. Approaches include fleet modernization programs, digital fare integration, GPS route mapping, cooperatives with better management, electrification including e-tuk-tuks, e-motorbikes, and e-minibuses, priority lanes for high-volume routes, and finally hybrid systems integrating BRT and paratransit. But the secret is this: if reforms ignore the operators, they will fail. If they include operators, they succeed. Tuk-tuks, matatus, microbuses, ojeks, they are not temporary solutions. They are permanent pillars of mobility. They move the majority of the commuters through the biggest megacities at the lowest cost and with the highest flexibility. They are imperfect, but they are indispensable. And most importantly, they move people where no one else will. Thanks for watching this video. The next episode will be the economics of informal mobility and why the governments can't just ban it. Until then, stay safe and stay curious, and remember, if you want to understand a city, ride its strangest looking vehicle.